So am I. We're here to discuss osmosis, and this is for chapter on solutions. We are going to do an exciting lab where we're going to demonstrate the human cell.
And you need one egg for this.
And this is your lab, and it will mimic exactly how your cells work in the human body. This lab is called Lab Egg Osmosis Lab. Pretty catchy title, huh? Anyway, you are going to take one egg and we are going to decalcify it using common household chemicals.
Acid-base reaction.
Vinegar, white distilled, not apple cider. You need white distilled. And this lab will take approximately 6 to 8 days to complete.
So plan accordingly. And don't start this at the last minute.
This is a fun lab. Get your kids involved. You will need basically 5 cups. We will be using the cup, the egg, and vinegar to take the shell off so we can get to the inner membrane of a chicken egg. If you have another type of egg out there, you're welcome to use that.
Grocery store eggs work just fine. I've done this experiment, so if you have an egg in the refrigerator, it works just fine as well.
We will be using vinegar, common tap water, and if you put some food coloring in the tap water, it makes it a lot easier to see what happens.
It's very cool to see what happens to the egg afterwards. Food coloring of your choice.
Salt water. Did you put food coloring in the salt water?
No, I just did tap water when I did mine.
Okay, so salt water, and then a liquid of your choice. You want some sort of sugar water, so whether that's maple syrup, corn syrup, molasses, something along those lines, anything you have in the house. As I said, this is a household chemicals lab, but it does a great job of demonstrating permeable membranes, which is much like your regular cells, and it brings chemistry and biology together in one lab. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to measure the circumference of your egg. We're going to weigh the egg and record this material. So you'll need to get your scale out.
Make sure you turn it on, make sure it's in the appropriate units, make sure it's got that little G in the right hand corner, and make sure it's set to 0. Now I am using, you can use a cup or you can use the weigh boat, something that will keep the egg from rolling off and cracking.
You might want to have an extra egg on hand just in case, because what we found in the past is handling them once they're decalcified, we have oopses. So my suggestion, just to be on the safe side, is to actually have 2 eggs in vinegar so that you have a backup. Okay, so the weight of our egg is about 35 grams, and so you'll want to record that on this data sheet. Okay, now we have already done the circumference of our egg, and now we're going to record the date, which today is 5/22/23, 22/18, and the circumference, I think that thing is bendy. Is it bendy?
This is probably where you want to have a good second egg. Now, if you use jumbo eggs or different eggs, because this is kind of, I think, a large egg, realize that the masses may be a little different.
Okay, and so when you're measuring the circumference at the equator. Okay, so what have we got on centimeters?
Okay.
Do you want me to hold it?
Can you tell me what it is?
Let's see.
So it goes up to 15 centimeters for your ruler.
So what do we got?
Looks like about 13.8, I think.
Okay, so we have 13.8.
Now if you have like those long like tape measures that you use to measure like inches, so like if you're looking to lose weight, things that can go around your arm that are easily wrappable, those work a lot better than this, but
that's what we have in hand here.
Yeah, this is what we have in hand, but if you have something that's a little more flexible, it might be a lot easier, because I was a little worried about dropping that egg.
Okay, and so we are going to place this in our vinegar. And so we need to know okay, so our liquid, we're just going to cover our egg, and this is going to sit for 2 days.
Now, I've used this egg for previous experiments, but if you look very closely at the surface, you can see bubbles that are forming. That is the
Your
acid-base reaction that is occurring.
And your egg should be sinking.
So if you have the, I've had problems in the past with some of this. If you need to, this is not a good demonstration to use, but a tablespoon that you have in your kitchen, you can help force that egg to stay down. So this works, but I need something to support it a little bit better. So a spoon, a fork, maybe even a knife, something with some weight so that the egg can't push it back up. But again, if you look very closely, you can see those little bubbles that are forming, and that's the that's your shell decomposing.
That's the decalcification by our acid. Now, this needs to remain submerged under the vinegar for about 48 hours. You can get by with a little less, but 48 hours is the prime amount of time for that to decalcify. Okay, cover this up, set it aside, and come back in 2 days, and you will reweigh this.